But I think like for workshop, it is not like just to get insights or it's not just to get answers, but also like since we for different people like in different departments or in different jobs, we would have different domains, we would have different knowledges. So how to motivate people to share their domains, that is like the goal that we want to get from the workshop.
Hello and welcome to the Design Explorers, a podcast by the Agoda design team. Agoda.com is a global digital travel platform where you can book hotels, vacation rentals, flights, and airport transfer. In this podcast, we will be sharing the awesome work of our design team, discuss interesting trends in relation to design and travel, and talk about product design in general. My name is Nachum Yamin and I will be your host for the show. First episode for 2022, which also marks the beginning of season 2 of Design Explorers. It's been a while, Yuki, and it's very exciting to come back.
Yes. It's been quite a while for us, right? I think we took a break for around 3 months.
Yep.
And I think, out of all honesty, I miss it, right? We had a certain cadence. We were kind of scheduling, we were discussing post-recording and everything like that. And suddenly we went on a break and we didn't have that cadence anymore. So I think there was that piece of, I guess, schedule or in my workday that has been gone for the past few months. So I'm really excited to kind of restart this cadence and meeting new people and talking about these fun conversations again.
Totally. I think in our reflection in the last episode, we talked about like fear and imposter syndrome. But the more you do that, it's becoming more fun. Like,
yes.
I'm actually excited to start season 2.
I actually was, testing a new mic for today and I felt like I don't hit my voice anymore. It sounded good. Maybe it's because of the new mic, but I think I'm starting to get used to it. My brain is clicking, right? It's like riding a bicycle. You suddenly get it and
Exactly.
You can start doing it again, feeling comfortable. So I'm really looking forward to this new season.
Yeah, and we have an exciting season coming. And we have a very interesting guest today.
Yes, that would be Danyao. It's exciting to have you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Danyao. I'm very happy to be here, to be in the first episode in the second season.
Awesome. Yeah, could you kind of, just for a brief introduction, right? Like for our listeners, how long has it been for you at Agoda?
I've been here for 2.5 years in Agoda. And so like at the first beginning when I came here, I was working for the front end, the NHA's traveler app. So I think for the audience, like if they know what NHA is, it's like non-hotel accommodation. So that is a kind of product, also a product for Agoda. And so I was working in the front end before. And then I also working for the China product, which is like the Agoda's product facing the China market. So it's very like specifically focused on the China audience. Like we focus on like WeChat mini programs, something like very specific. And after that, I transformed to supply team. And then so I started working for the supply product for Agoda. So my client has been changed from the travelers to the back end, the hotel side and the supply side. And also like we need to work with a lot of like partnership apartments, like market managers as well.
That's great. I think based on what I've learned so far, for our designers who work with users, I think there are less stakeholders. But once it goes into the supply side, I think Nahum, you can definitely talk more about this, but I think there are more stakeholders. And that's why I think our topic today on workshop and collaboration with multiple stakeholders is something that is really key, especially for supply side designers. So I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. I think we can even get started about, how did you get interested or start doing these design workshops in your design career?
So like for design workshop, I think it's quite interesting. It's like we originally was trying to get some insights from each like the stakeholders or users. So like for us, for designers, we are just like functioning as the facilitators to collect ideas. And in this like workshop, we need to like at the first beginning, we need to put down any of our opinions first. Like we may have very strong opinions or directions like what we would like to go. But in this workshop, since we want to get some insights first, actually we need to put down everything, and we just like as a white paper and to collect every ideas from different people. I think that's very interesting. So originally, like at the first beginning, like when I was doing the front end products for the traveler side, for consumer facing side, we would like basically think about the user centric methods, like we based on the user's standpoint. And later, like when we switched to the supply side, we found like since there were so many stakeholders, it becomes like quite challenging after that.
Maybe we can deep dive into a specific workshop you did in the past, and if you can share with our audience some of the background and reasons that led you into initiate it.
Okay. I would like to raise the example of the workshop that we had with Agoda's market managers. It was quite impressive for me because like before that, we mostly had workshop with designers, product owners, so product managers or developers most of the time. But for this time, I think that was the first time for us to invite market managers to the workshop and to facilitate their brainstorming. It was quite interesting because like so the reason why we want to have this workshop is we want to improve our user experience of partner programs. So which is a product to help hotels to boost their rankings, to improve their visibilities in Agoda. But the problem is right now, there are a lot of like small products within the partner programs. Like we have Agoda Growth Express, which is AGX. We also have Agoda Growth programs with AGP and also sponsored listing. And sometimes like it might be a little bit confused for the user, for the hotel side to distinguish which one is the best for them. Because like there are different like features in different products and which one should like meet their requirements exactly. That is a question like for them. And also we want a user like to know them like clearly at the beginning. Because like in the real case is every time if the hotel like they want to know like which one is the best for them, they would ask our market managers for help. The market managers would go to the hotel to pitch to them to say, oh, this product is the right product for you because blah, blah, blah. And it may somehow requires more time spending for the market managers on communicating with the hotels since they are the key and the direct communicator with those hotels. So in a sense, we want to like, through improving the products, is there any like possibility that opportunities that we can alleviate the workload of the market managers and also like to help the usability of our extranets. So, but before that, we wanted to know how exactly it worked between the market managers and hotels. So we want to have this workshop to get some like observations or insights. So we had a role-playing session between the market managers and the hotels. Actually, some of them would act as market managers and some of them would act as hotels. And we would ask them like to, some of them to have the Q&A session, and I want to see like how the market managers pitch to the hotels and how hotels, they ask questions and how they reacted to each other. And from this conversation, we would get some observations and insights from it. And based on that, we would ask them like to further come up with some new ideas or some of their like opinions based on the observation, and it was very useful and very interesting. And since like we learned a lot from this workshop.
In our initial discussion before this recording, you shared with us how workshops can also sometimes, help you clarify the ambiguity of the requirements of such complex problems, like the project you just mentioned. Can you please elaborate more on that?
Okay, so from the workshop is actually for designers sometimes mostly like we got requirements from the PO directly, and so maybe the PO they have their own like standpoints or business goal, but for us we are like we want to like go through the whole process. We want to stand on the user standpoints. We want to get better notes about users. So in this case, we would maybe like if we just go directly with the PO standpoint or PO's business goal, maybe it's not quite enough for designers to see through the whole user-centric vision. So in this case, we want to like for designer standpoint, we want to see the larger scope. We want to stand up on the higher level to see the overall flows. So it's better for us to have a workshop with different stakeholders rather than the PO. But also we would like to talk to different departments, different people that working or involved or being involved into this product. So that's the original, like very initial starting point from us. And since like also like for the time issue, for the timeline issue, the PO would like designers, maybe they will have an idea, say, right now I want to go this direction. So so for you, like for designers, you just come up with some mock-ups or some just ideas to help me like to consolidate or strengthen my ideas into that direction. But for us, maybe we would doubt if this direction is correct or not. So for our workshop, which can help us like stop going directly, but we just stop to like think about for a while, and then like maybe we can like find different directions. Maybe the PO's direction is not that correct. Maybe we can help them like to correct that to the right track. Also, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like when we work with POs and market managers or other stakeholders, they have certain ideas of where the product should move towards, right? And so as designers, we have the ability to design and implement those features. But I think having these sessions or workshops allows us to kind of brainstorm potential alternatives that may or may not be better than what we currently have. And so I think that helps. I think it really ties to the fact that, this is a tool for designers to empower us in terms of having more stake in and having more say in how the product strategy or product roadmap is kind of created. And so is that something that you've found throughout your career that, hey, like these workshops are really necessary for myself as a designer to kind of contribute to the product strategy overall?
Yeah, I think that works very well, very importantly, because like I remember like in one of the workshop that actually it was initiated by the PO first, and he wanted us to like go to the directions like he wanted. So he have a wireframes. He has a whole structure of what he would like to go. But for us, like he would ask us, for designers, maybe you would just come up with ideas to like strengthen or to fill in the structures to make the structure to be, how to say it to be able to implement it. But for us, we would doubt why should we go this direction? If we go this direction, would that bring us value? That's all the questions that we would like to doubt. So in this case, we would suggest him like, why not stop thinking at this moment? Why not like have a workshop to talk to more people to see like why should we do this? Maybe like your direction is not that correct. So after that, we try to collect more ideas. actually at first the PO actually he didn't buy in our ideas. He didn't believe in workshop. But after that, we collect more ideas from the market managers and all the internal staff working in the products, and also we collect ideas from the hotels. From that, we know like maybe the prototype needs to be refined. Maybe the directions is not that correct as we imagine. So we may need to like jump up or stop going straightly, but just like stop and think about it for a while, like the concept first. Then like we can find the right direction to go.
That's a very important point, because I think designers most of the time struggle with pushing through their ideas when they're talking with POs, with product owners or product managers. And it's it's not easy for them to articulate or drive their perspective or bring in the user voice. And I think what you're saying, the workshops is kind of easy that and create alignment, bring everyone perspective. We're talking about ideas now. We share our thoughts, so it really helps in that way.
Yeah, I think like for the products, actually everyone is the owner of the products. Not only the product owners or product managers, but also the designers.
Yeah.
We own this product from different aspects, from the user centric, and or from other stakeholders. We would also like considering other stakeholders. So I think in this case for designers, we can like contribute to these products by holding some workshops or by facilitating everyone to think in design ways, or like to help them design thinking, how to go through these products, how to better this product's vision.
I love that. It's such a great mindset.
It is.
Everyone owns the product. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually something that I've learned very recently myself, right? I think I'm very new in my career. And I think initially when I started as a designer, maybe it was just me and my imposter syndrome, or whether like I wasn't quite sure of my own skills and what I should be doing. And so I was more subordinate or kind of receiving any requests from anyone else really, and kind of completing those tasks, right? I was checking checkboxes. But I think having this, you're more of an owner, you're more of a contributor. You're not there to just, follow orders and contribute in terms of design, but more of your ideas and what you can do to really impact and bring value to the company. And so I think that's a really important mindset. And I want to kind of go back to your story about, initially your PO was really hesitant about even moving forward with a workshop in the first place, right? Like, why do you even need to do this? I already have my own idea. Let's move forward, right? You're slowing us down. How did you kind of convince, or how did he change or how did your PO change their mind about, we should really stop and reconsider our options before moving forward and validate our ideas?
Yeah, I think for PO standpoint, it mostly like related to the timeline issue, because he wanted to finish the milestone in the certain period, or maybe in this quarter or that quarter. Mm-hmm. So for him, like that is main concern. But for us, our concern is even if we finish every milestones, but it proves out to be like a wrong direction at the end. So how should we go back again? So we would like waste a whole 2 quarters to finish just one, something like it is not valuable. Mm-hmm. So in this case, we would actually at the beginning, we just squeeze more time, we just spend time without the proof by PO. We just do the workshop by ourselves. We just collect some insights or interview by ourselves first. And then after we got initial insights, we show that to PO. We say, oh, right now we got this insights, which looks a little bit different from the direction that you want to go. And so would you like to dive more, to probe more, to see if this more insight about like more real insights from the hotels that actually is contradictory to what you want to go. So after that, maybe the PO would like to like stop like pushing for a while, and maybe he would like to then like to see more insights from the hotel side or from the internal staff side to see like maybe like it's time to like change or revise a little bit about milestone. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot in there that I want to kind of deconstruct. First is about, I think, the goal of a workshop in the first place, right? I think there has to be a certain objective to it. And to me, it sounds like an interview where you're trying to get something out of the other person, right? And in this case, you were trying to prove something that, hey, what we are trying to move forward with, that the PO has suggested, it might not be the direction that we want to be moving forward. I think there has to be a clear objective that is set without you kind of leading the direction of the workshop to get the answers that you want, to fishing for the answers. And so how did you kind of go about hosting those sessions and workshops and gathering those ideas so that you can have clear evidence that this is something that the PO might have to reconsider?
Since the product owners and designers, we have different mindsets a little bit. For them, like their priority might be the business goal for most of the time. And also they will consider about the milestones to meet the business goal. But for us, once we come up with some ideas, we will think about how to like improve the user experience, how to stand on the user's standpoints. And so, of course, user journey will be something like we would put in a very high position, in the very first position, while we start doing the design. If you want to like step out and to have to rethink about this whole flow, we will like start with the user journey again, and we want to see like how many people will get involved into the products, maybe from the user end, maybe they're the clients, or maybe those people who will be involved into like each, maybe like some of the parts of this flows. So we would think like so we would like collect those like people group, different groups who would be involved, and then we would like to like, talk to each of the groups. For example, for the partner programs that we did, we have the market managers, and actually for PO, their requirements, or they got the design requirements actually only just based on the data that look into from the maybe just from the database. But they would also get some ideas from the market managers, maybe one or two, but they didn't talk to everyone. They didn't have like any workshops with market managers, a group market managers. So for us, we would think maybe their insight is also very, very partial. It's not holistic. So for us, we want to get holistic ideas, holistic insights. So in this case, we need to like schedule some meetings or workshops with the partnership people, also like market managers at the same time. So we will schedule with them, and we from the user journey we also see like there's some other departments, maybe like partner service people, and also some other like maybe marketing people. So we will also like schedule different workshops with them to talk to them like differently. And after that we got some initial insights from different departments. We would also like have some like group workshop to ask different departments to come up with some ideas together in the big workshop.
Now, Danyao, Yuki here is a bit of a skeptical guy, and when we worked on the content of this episode, we learned that he had some valid point, and he's not such a strong believer sometimes in workshops. So what are the cases that you think that workshop are not the right way to do something, or where they can fail?
Actually, I think for workshop, it may fail like if your goal is not that. For example, if your theme is not that clear enough for the participants, because like they may come here like they may stuck into some of the session, like they don't know how to, if you don't have like right questions, maybe they were stuck and they don't know like how to help you, give you the insights. And also like if there's, I think workshop should be something relaxing and fun. So if it is like just ask them questions directly and to get some like, could you give me any ideas or something? Maybe for in this way they would not be willing, or they would not be facilitated to give out some ideas. Yeah, I think
That's a very interesting point, actually. I think you're slowly changing my mind on that, because I think this is similar. In my opinion, what I was skeptical about is that because the outcome is so uncertain, you don't know whether you're going to get the right evidence or even the right direction that maybe you want to drive the conversation towards. And because it's such a large investment with many stakeholders that are often busy, and so I think there was a lot at stake. Why not just talk to a few people that you, I guess, the person that you're trying to convince, or when you're trying to get the right data, just talk to a few of them that you trust, and then that's it, right? It might be the fastest way possible. But I think where the flaw in my thinking is that I think everyone is rational. And I don't think that's always the case, right? You do have to create the right environment, the right context, ask the right questions in the right way, frame it in the right way, in order to get the answers that you want, right? It's not always like at the beginning of meetings, you ask people, how was your day? And you don't really expect the right answer or a realistic answer, right? And so I think workshops do give kind of a better way to facilitate those honest and truthful conversations that could dive deeper than even the person who's sharing these ideas have ever thought about. I think that's depending on the project. I'm still a little bit skeptic about the entire process, since it is, a big investment. But if there are a lot of opportunities to be gained from a lot of other stakeholders, I think it's really a strong and powerful tool to learn and innovate.
Yeah, I think like for I understand like what you would doubt, and this like for the value of workshop. But I think like for workshop it is not like just to get insights, or it's not just to get answers, but also like since for different people like in different departments or in different jobs, we would have different domains, we would have different knowledges. So how to motivate people to share their domains, that is like the goal that we want to get from the workshop. Since like maybe we can like get this insights or get this knowledges from by asking the right questions. That can be like or right themes, or giving them the right themes to motivate their thinking. That can be like one direction. But I think the overall like method, maybe we can have different methods in the workshop, but the overall goal for us is to get knowledge from different people, because like it's also very challenging for us, like how to ask the right questions, how to like set up the right sessions to motivate them to share their ideas or thoughts. So the thoughts, I think every thoughts like from different domains, or every knowledges that we get from different people would be very valuable for us, since like they have like their own like working scope, or the professional scope, and that is something like we are not able to know from this as a designer. So I think it's very good for us to get to know like different people's how they work and what their knowledge are. So from this workshop.
And you mentioned that the workshop should be fun, and I think when it's become some sort of a play and fun, it's kind of help us to understand the other perspective, and also explain ourselves to the other side, because we are now not in this stressed or intense situation where in the middle of the work So you are able to have a better stakeholder alignment just because we are now taking a break from work and doing this fun activity.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I think what the term fun here is alluding to is the role that the facilitator has to play, right? I think you do have to create the right mood and environment for people to be able to share. I think in our initial discussion, when we talked, we were talking about one quote that I really like from you, Danyao, that I would love for you to elaborate on is all the participants in a workshop have to be willing to challenge and be challenged. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I remember like in one of the workshop that we did as we played a session which is called like robbing session. Like we asked like we separate those like people participants into different groups, and we would ask them to put their ideas on top of the wall, and we separate into three groups. So there are three different ideas, and then like for the second round, there's robbing round, and for the second round, we would ask them to switch their seats. So you will be like criticize the next team that besides you, and so you will put in red stickers on top of their ideas, and you will doubt their ideas. You will say, oh, right now like they come up with these ideas to improve our business, but from my standpoint, I think it might be not feasible because of this. So they will like put some of doubt on top of the ideas. So after that, on the third round, and we will base on this their doubt and also the original ideas people give to us, we will think about new ideas. So based on their doubt or based on others like brainstorming ideas, how should we do? So I think like for this this kind of session, like it can facilitate people think, and also it can like, on the other hand, it will give people like the constraints, thinking like what kind of constraint that we need to consider in terms of the business restrictions or in terms of our business goal. So it can like it would not like just let people brainstorming to a very wide ideas, but also like we will give them the ideas of right now we are thinking in the business scope. We need to like still like think about our revenues or something. So based on that, like what would the new ideas will be generated from this like all of the overall thinking. So I think that's also kind of maybe a challenges for the participants. We give them like, we tell them like right now you have the constraints. You should not like think too wide. But we also like encourage them to think wide.
You have become more and more experienced in running these workshops. And our listeners, we probably have like very junior designers starting their career. What's some of good advice you can give to these listeners, that if they want to facilitate a workshop for the first time, how should they start? What should she do?
I think like for workshop it's kind of it's not that hard. It's just firstly like just schedule with different people, like you want to get them involved into the workshop. And then like I think the most important thing is you need to design the sessions in the workshop. We need to like consider like what people would participate in this workshop. Maybe I think for different people, for people for example, people like hotels or market managers, they will have their own like mindset, or I think the personality or would be like a little bit similar. Because I think for designers, we may like a little bit like some of us would be very, very like whimsical in terms of thinking. We would have a lot of ideas, but some of us would be very skeptical. We would like doubt, why should we go these directions? So we should like consider like maybe for the general characteristics of this whole group, maybe if they are like very rational, they don't like to think very widely, but they would think rationally how to design this product in a very rational way, and how to make the design like meet the business requirement, etc. Some like very rational standpoint. I think there are a lot of resources online we can like look up to. So basically, every time like we did workshop, we will like look up the resources to see like what kind of games that we should give to the participants in terms of their personalities. That is something like we need to put a lot of time into, I think. And after that, after you like designed very well about the process, about all the sessions that you want to put into the workshop, then I think it's time to go. It's very easy. Like, so in this workshop, like for us, for designers, we need to pay attention to it. Don't be too leading. Don't tell them like you should go this direction, that direction. So for us, we just be the facilitator, and we just like ask them questions and to motivate their thinking. That's something we need to remember through the whole session, through the whole workshop. So that's all. I think that is the important. That's just very simple, but you need to remember like you are the facilitator.
So remembering your place in the session as a facilitator and not directing.
Yeah.
I do have a quick question about a facilitator's role to remain neutral, right? Because the fact that you're hosting or facilitating a workshop means that you have a lot of stake into the final outcome or the decision, right? Does it mean that you should not contribute your opinions at all? Or where does that stand? Is it just purely during the session, you kind of remain neutral as much as possible to facilitate the conversation? And after that, you can kind of synthesize the data or whatever it is. Like, where's your own position in this whole discussion?
I think like we are just like people who give out the questions, because like since if you say like actually it's like impossible, like you would not like put any ideas inside, because like for the theme, for the questions that you ask, it's already like represents like actually you have already have your directions. Maybe you say, should we go this directions? Should we go that directions? That is some questions that you have in mind. But in the workshop, we may like change those direction, change those ideas, opinions into the topic already. We would ask them, what do you think about this topic, on that topic? So we just change the way that we ask questions to be not that leading.
I see.
Yeah. I think that in our initial conversation, you also mentioned that you as a facilitator need to come with open mind, not with your biases and with your direction.
Yeah.
And your role is more about creating a safe environment to hear all the voices in the team.
Yes. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. I think in terms of diversity, there was also something that was clicking in for me in terms of personality. Like there are some people that are more rational and analytical, while others are more wild and crazy, or don't think too much about constraints, right? And so I think in general, should you even consider their personality? I think you mentioned that we should consider their personality, not just their role or their domain knowledge, but do we want to strike a balance of diverse set of personalities, or should we optimize for those that are rational or depending on the type of workshop that you want to kind of set forward?
Yeah, I think like first beginning, like when we design workshop, we may have like maybe assumption of this group people might be with this characteristics, so we may design in this way. But in the actual workshop, maybe we found out that actually, because maybe for example, if we are doing workshop for designers, and we would like firstly we would assume that they are very whimsical, they have a lot of ideas. So we may say, this might be a brainstorming session. We ask everyone to contribute the ideas. But while in the workshop, we found that actually most of them actually they're very skeptical. They would doubt why we have this workshop. So in this way, like we need to change immediately inside during the workshop. We may say, if you like keep like asking questions without giving us ideas, we may like change our session to be a question burst session. So we will say, if you have any questions in terms of this topic, you can feel free to put your stickers put your questions into the stickers and put it on the wall. For example, like then like we change the session to be a question bursting. So after that, the result would be like rather than collecting ideas directly, we're collecting questions. Actually, like from those questions, we still can find a lot of insights.
Wow. That's an aspect that I've never really considered, because you do have a plan or a set of activities that you plan for, and suddenly people's mindset or the environment or whatever they're thinking about doesn't kind of afford to, they're not in the right mindset, or they have other priorities that might have been different. And so
Yeah.
being able to be flexible and change on the spot, that must be tough. That's yeah, I think that would be a big challenge.
Yeah, I think like for every workshop we wanted to do at the first beginning, we would have a pilot workshop. So we would like to test our workshop, if the workshop works, if our design session is okay for running the workshop. So in the pilot workshop, we would ask everyone like to participate first, and then like at the very first beginning, before we start every session, we would ask them like, do you have any questions in terms of this topic, that topic? We would like to see like if they have any doubts about like the directions of the workshop. If they have a lot of questions, maybe like, which means they are not very clear about what is direction of the workshop, or maybe later on they will not contribute ideas as we assumed. So in this case, maybe we would change a little bit in our official workshop later. Yeah, I think from the pilot workshop is quite valuable, quite useful for us to see like if the workshop works or not.
Yeah. I think the skeptical self is kicking in again, like more workshops? Do we need a pilot of the pilot? Right. But yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of value in having a pilot, since sometimes you can't afford to reschedule another one. So there's definitely a lot of things that you have to consider about. I think that has been confirmed in my mind, right, as a facilitator and host. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
I think also that, workshop, it's not always about the outcome. It's sometimes about the process itself and the journey that you take through the workshop, and the opportunity, to understand and listen to other people's perspective, which is not less important than the main objective of the workshop. Maybe even more important sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting to see like how participants interact with each other in the workshop. So you will see like how they ask others or how they react to others' questions. So that's something like we can observe through the workshop. I think that's quite important for us, rather than the results.
And speaking about diversity, I think one of the great things about working at Agora is that we have, people from different culture, different perspective, and really diverse culture in this company. And even in our design team, we have people that are a bit more analytical and rational in the thinking compared to someone more creative or more visual. And it's a great opportunity to remind our listeners that if you're interested in joining our team, you can visit careers@agora.com.
Awesome. Well, I think it's been quite a very fruitful conversation that we've had today. I think I've learned a lot. You've definitely moved the dial in terms of, considering design workshops as a more viable tool in my own mind. And hopefully a lot of our listeners has been able to kind of understand the power of collaboration and workshops as well. So I think, yeah, it's been really great. It's been a pleasure to have you, Danyao.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me to share the ideas. Actually, like through our talking, I think it can also help me organize my thinking or organize my thinking about my workshop that I did before. Yeah, it's very also helpful for me.
Yeah, we've heard a lot from our guests that it helps them reflect about what they've been doing as well. So yeah, it's been great. But yeah, thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you are listening, and share it with your friends and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe to our show to get notified when we are releasing a new episode. And if you want to learn more about the work of the design team at Agoda, visit agoda.design. Thanks again for listening and hope to see you in our next episode.